Hi, Jeff. Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, hi. Okay, so I don't know if you've already answered the question or not, but it's hopefully a fairly simple question. So I've been studying for reg since last year. However, I'm a little confused on what material I'm going to be taking it actually Monday. I'm a little confused on what material I'm going to be tested on. Like, for example, on individual Schedule A, before medical limitation 7.5 now changed to 10%. Which one should I be looking forward to come Monday?
Well, the current 2014 exam until July will test 2013 tax law.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2013 and moving forward, it's now 10%.
Okay.
And so, well, that's if you're under 65. But for exam purposes, I'm not sure that they'll ask you that. It might come into play on an AMT question, but it's not really an AMT issue anymore. Because AMT was 10% and now Schedule A is 10%. If I were taking the exam today, I would make sure that I had the 179 deduction and phase out memorized.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Okay.
I mean, as far as
I only ask because. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I only ask because when I'm using the Wiley's test bank and it's updated, but then like some questions use 10% and then another question that has 7.5, so I was getting answers wrong. So I'm like, now I'm kind of confused. I mean, it's easy to make the adjustment in my mind, but I just need to know which way I need to go with it.
It sounds like not all those questions were updated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not.
So, so yeah, it'll be 10% on your exam. Oh, well, I think it should be 10%. It should.
It should be. Okay.
But you know what? If you get into a situation where you're like, I know it's 10%, but the only answer is 7.5%, and like 10 is nowhere to be found, you might have to just on the fly be like, okay, maybe this one just did not get updated. And so,
okay,
you might have to do that.
Okay. Well, that was my question because I got all panicky. I'm already on edge because I'm taking it on Monday. But
Sure.
Just wanted to hear your thoughts on that. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for calling in. Area code 612, how are you? Area code 612. Going once. Hello? Okay, area 832, how are you?
Good. How's it going, Jeff?
Great.
Hey, I just have a quick question on audit, man. And it's not really like it's just a studying technique. I'm going to sit for audit end of next month, end of February, this coming 4 weeks up in here. And I just want to know on the simulations, man. It's kind of like a little bit more tricky. What did you advise me, especially on simulations, so I can be tied up?
Have you passed FAR or regulation?
This is my first time.
Okay, it's your first exam.
I'm testing the water. Right.
Okay, well, I always say that if you understand the concepts conceptually, then you'll do well on the simulations, but that's not always the case because the simulations are a different look at the material, and so they might give you some schedule or something where you know that you understand the concepts, but the simulation is not intuitive as to what they want you to do. Because one time I was taking FAR, and it was over a topic that I knew really well, but for the life of me, I could not figure out what they wanted me to do. And so you might find yourself in that situation, and you just have to make the best of it One thing I would do is I would go to the AICPA website, and they've changed the URLs around, but I would do their sample test, and it's not even a sample test. It's like 5 multiple choice questions and like 1 simulation and research, but that will show you exactly what the simulation will look like, and particularly you want to study the research component and how to add the whatever the research citation is. You want to figure out how to do that ahead of time.
Right.
And then one thing you could do is just set aside like an entire Saturday towards the end of your study process, where you're like, okay, I'm gonna do only simulations today, and that's it.
That seems like a good idea.
But
that seems like a good idea.
Yeah, I would not fret about it though.
Yeah, I camp on ICPA website. I study sometime. I spend some time codification because I'm using CPA Excel. But what I find out, I have CPA Excel and the backup, both of them. I found out most of this material, they just go copy from the codification on a CPA Excel and ACPA, and then they come back and kind of like do some summary. So I spend most of the time reading those codifications on myself, and to be honest with you, it's very, very helpful. It's very, very helpful when it comes to multiple choice questions. I hit them bang, 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 not too hard. The only problem is like on a simulation, because I get that panic attack. Every time when I practice, I get that panic attack. It's like the time is going so fast, and then you have to go find it. Like sometimes you have to get inside the codification and start looking around, and that I get very, very frustrated to know exactly what to pick it.
Well, one piece of information that might help calm your nerves a little bit is that if there is one exam where people finish early, it is auditing. Like auditing used to be 4.5 hours, and now it's 4 hours, I believe. But people used to finish it like in 3 hours. And I am a slow test taker, and I finished it early. Like for regulation and FAR, I used every last millisecond of my exam. For auditing, I finished early, and I was like, really? And so all that to say, you can use the research component to answer a simulation question.
Okay.
And so,
all right.
And so once you get into the simulation, you can work some time management and figure out how much time you have. And of course, you cannot do that for the multiple choice questions. You have no access to the codification, to the standards. But so anyway, I
got the last question. This is just the last question. Like based on your experience, because I know you talk to a lot of people, different people from different backgrounds. And especially my question is rely on one thing. When you're doing this multiple choices, like kind of like a studying session, like on a CPA Excel, which is like about 30, 34 questions, I score around the 80 to 85, 89. I never hit higher than that. Every now and then I'll hit the 70, 75. So that kind of like, I read online, some people say like they score around the 90 to get around 70s. 77, 78, like on a real exam. So I'm kind of like a little bit, frustrated. I'm like, okay, I want to push it a little bit like mid-90s, but it's never been easy. So that gives me a big time nervous when I'm like doing like a few minutes ago. I'm at work right now, but a few minutes ago when I was practicing like on these multiple choice questions, and at the beginning I start checking. I get that checking that I have to hit the 90. So I put too much pressure on myself.
Well, my threshold is much lower. I say that if you're scoring like a 70, which is an arbitrary amount, but if you're scoring a 70, especially when you're in your final review stage.
Right, that's where I'm at right now.
Are you doing practice test or are you doing like a set of like 30 questions over audit sampling or something?
So I do 30 questions over like the whole audit.
Oh,
not like the audit sample, but the whole thing.
Okay.
Right.
Never do that.
Okay.
It's
good.
because number one, what does it tell you? Nothing.
Right.
Nothing. Because
nothing.
Because the exam does not test on a percentage basis. It's weighted differently. It's like this secret formula that no one understands. But and plus, let's say that you work 90 multiple choice questions like over the whole random exam. You just spent 3 or 4 hours, and what did you accomplish with your time? What's the return on that investment? Pretty minimal. Other than you're pretty frustrated.
Correct.
You instead spend that time, instead of working 90 multiple choice questions over random topics, work 30 multiple choice questions over audit sampling, 30 over internal control, and 30 over auditing and technology or whatever.
All right, and so that's exactly. I would start doing that, like, because you went through. That's what I did before. You finishing financial. Let's say, for instance, you still like testing procedure. You finish it from like planning procedures. When you finish all that, that's the reason I start picking questions randomly, especially on a Baker, because everybody say Baker's is harder. So I was like, okay, let me try to pick randomly. But I understand now. I'm just going to focus exactly the way they let you use it, like Power One sections and stuff like that, like Audit IT and all that.
Yeah, and you know what? Just because someone says in the forum that they scored that they scored a 90 on their practice exam and ended up scoring 78 on the real exam, like just ignore that. I mean, that was them. You are you, and don't do practice exams, and just do your best. You'll be fine. And hey, you know what?
Oh.
If you go in there and fail audit, guess what? You're normal.
Yeah, I see it online, man. I'm putting myself so much pressure. I have to be honest with you. I've been an accountant for like 8-9 years, and I've been like all over from like accounting manager to everything, and I cannot make to where I want to be, which is like a division control and all, and that's because I cannot sign off on the financials. So I put myself on this like a trial that I have now in June to get all this in 4 parts done. And to be honest, it's not a rocket science, because I've been a lot of auditing. I mean, I went through a lot of auditing really live. I mean, I read this engagement letter day in, day out. So it's something that I'm just going back right now. I'm putting inside the test cube, and that's his way to get a little bit complex.
Well, one way to relieve your stress is to not tell everyone in the world that you're taking the exam. You just kind of
absolutely. I won't. It's me and my wife, only two of us.
Yeah,
no.
You just kind of an undercover CPA exam secret agent or something. Yeah, and then you know what? Yeah, you want to pass by June, but life happens, and so just let it happen.
I agree. Really appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot. I mean, I just found out your website maybe about 2-3 days back, maybe 4 or 5 days, and from then I listened a little bit portion of your audio, and I love it. I'm planning to buy here in a short period of time, just the whole audio section. I mean, other than that, I think it's just fabulous. I think you just hit it right on the nail.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Right. And I like the notion that you write your own notes, and that's just something that I'm doing. I mean, I rewrite my own notes. I mean, I just understand when I understand the concept, I rewrite it. Like just a few minutes ago, I was just rewriting, like on a using of specialists and stuff like that during audit.
Yep.
So I think it's a good thing.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Well,
all right, man.
Keep studying hard, and thank you for calling in, okay?
I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot, Jeff.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You bet.
Bye. Area code 202. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's cold here.
It's freezing down here.
Where are you located?
Washington, D.C.
Okay. See, I'm from Kansas, so down here is like down here to me is like Texas. So.
Oh my goodness. How you doing, Jeff? I'm so stressful right now.
Have we spoken before?
Yes, we have.
Okay. I thought I recognized the voice, and I think last time we spoke, you were so stressed too.
Yeah, 'cause I didn't make it, and I'm so stressed. I don't know what to do anymore.
Okay. Where are you? And what's the situation?
I want to start with reg, but maybe now I'm gonna switch 'cause I didn't make it. So I actually reapplied, but I just canceled it. I said I'm just stressed.
Okay, what did you? So you just failed reg?
It was in November, and I've taken it 3 times.
Okay, what did you score?
The first one 68, 69, then I dropped to 66.
And did you drop because you didn't do what you had done before, study-wise?
Actually, this exam, I thought I would pass because I know the simulation, but I don't know. I don't know what happened. I put all I could.
Did you repeat your exact study process that you had for 69, or did you cut some corners?
No, I did. I did not cut the corners. I did everything that I think I'm supposed to do.
When did you take your exam that you scored a 60? Okay, that was November that you scored your 66?
Yes, I took it. I think it was the last week, the last Saturday of November. No, I did it before Thanksgiving, the week before Thanksgiving.
Okay, which exams have you passed any exams?
No.
Okay.
That's like the only one I've been stuck on. So I was planning of switching. Do you have any advice?
Yeah, I would switch because you were going to have to study regulation from beginning to end again anyway, and maybe it's just time to move on to a different section and come back to your arch nemesis later.
Okay.
So jumping not that far is any better because it's actually worse, but it's a different look. It's just something different to stare at other than tax law and business law. So maybe, well, can you study really hard over the next month?
I'm trying.
Okay. Well, what have you been studying since November?
I want to really do BEC, but it's saying like you should put that last.
No. That's what I was going to say. I was going to say jump into BEC, but then if you were all, exam ready here for if you were all exam ready, like for regulation, then I'd say jump and do that. I would switch over to BEC and hit that hard and take that at the end of February. Don't let this testing window go by without you taking an exam.
Okay, I'll try because I want the next window to do two if I can because I've been so lazy and frustrated of myself. But next window, definitely I want to do two.
Well, the only way to do that is to start studying in March and take one exam mid-April and take your next exam late May. That's the only way to take two.
That's what I want to do.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. That's what I would do. Jump into BEC and stop being lazy.
I know. It's not like lazy. I know that's the right word, though. That's lazy and frustration. That makes no sense.
You were the one that called it lazy. I was just agreeing with you.
No, I agree. Because it's just I just need to wash my shoulder and move on. But I'm still beating myself up. That makes no sense.
Well, you weren't lazy. You were depressed.
Any word, I think I'll take it.
Yeah. Jump into BEC. That's what I would do. And
okay.
And if I do another one of these next week, you can call me back.
Okay, I will, Shirley. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
What was your first name again?
Martha.
Martha. Okay. All right. Thanks, Martha.
Thank you, Jeff.
Okay. Bye. All right. Let's go to area code 256.
Yes, that's right. Aarti here.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, I'm doing well on this Wednesday. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from California.
Oh. Well, the weather is much better in California than it is here. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, anytime, I think. It's just cloudy today, but it's a really good day.
Yeah, I was actually supposed to be out in San Diego. San Diego last week, but for some stupid reason I canceled, and I was here in like -5-degree weather, so I'm not sure that was a great trade-off.
Oh my God, I I just can't understand how people live there, because I find it cold here itself, and I'm like, okay, how do people survive in minus degree, and how do they go about the whole day?
Oh, cost of living makes
Yeah.
it a little bit more palatable.
Oh yeah, that is, of course. I mean, it's crazy out here. So actually, I had mailed you a couple of days back regarding my study strategy. So I'm in a little fix. It's like for some reason I had to go to India, so I missed out on a testing window. And now the timelines have become very tight, and I have to give totally 3 papers by March 19th. But March being not a testing window, so I'm left technically with only Feb. So I have scheduled my audit paper.
You have 3 exams to pass between now and the end of February?
Yes, that's right.
And which exam section are you losing?
I think in all probability I might forego on reg, but I am giving audit by the coming Monday, and I was contemplating between regulations and SAR, which one to take up for the next month and give my best shot. So, but I was like held up between the two. So,
if I had to pick between 2 of them, or between the 2 of them for a month, I mean, they're both about the same time-wise. I mean, usually I say 7 to 8 weeks for both FAR and reg. I say 6 to 7 weeks for auditing, and 5 to 6 weeks for BEC.
okay.
So, which one do you feel stronger in, tax law or financial reporting?
I think finance would be a better call, because I am a chartered accountant from India. So I find some topics definitely, similar. There's some similarity, and tax is completely new here. The laws are different here. So it will be a totally new ballgame together. So
okay, and plus, since you're taking auditing naturally fits with financial reporting, so that's what I would do.
okay, sounds great. So I've actually scheduled my reg paper, because anyways it's getting expired. So I thought I'll just go and attempt the paper at least. So any tips on that? I mean, if at all, if I just take out an hour from every day, other than my SAR preparation, how do I just go about it and at least do a decent job in the exam?
For FAR?
For regulations. For FAR, I'll be preparing full time. But regulations, I am giving the paper because the NTS is anyways expiring. So I thought, why not just at least attempt the paper? So do you think that's a good idea, first of all?
So essentially, you're saying instead of just kind of giving up and letting it expire, you're going to go in and give yourself a fighting chance?
Maybe.
First
of all, is that a good idea to give a paper without...
have you already paid for your regulation exam?
Yeah, that's the whole problem. I have already paid for all the 4 papers at once, so that's why in this position.
Well, essentially, for $250, which is the cost of the regulation exam. I mean, because if you don't go in there and take it, then you can take it again in April or whatever, and not have to repay for it.
But NDS is expiring by March.
Yeah.
So.
No. Yeah. I know. Do you have at least a day to study for it before your exam?
No, I don't think I have that kind of timelines, because the 3rd is what I'm giving, audit paper. So, and the latest date I can give FAR is 25th, because that's already the dates have been booked towards the end of the month. So, technically I just have 20 days to prepare for FAR. So that itself is a very stringent timeline. And
okay, I would just resign yourself to the fact that you're going to lose BEC.
You mean the regulations, not BEC?
Why did I think BEC was expiring?
Reg.
Reg is expiring.
Yeah.
What about BEC?
No. 1 second. When I say BEC, I did give it a shot, but I didn't clear. So I thought why to pay right now, because anyways I have 3 papers on my hand. So let me go through this testing window, give whatever I can, and then by next window let me apply for BEC. So currently my position is only for 3 papers, that is Audit, Reg and FAR. Audit I'm giving next week, FAR I'm planning by the end of February, and Reg I thought I'll still give it a shot because it would anyways just go, it would just expire. Expire in the sense, I mean the NTS would expire. So I thought I'll give it an attempt for the exam.
Okay. Your NTS is expiring, not your credit.
No, not the credits. I've still not qualified in any of the papers yet.
My fault. Well, if your NTS is if your NTS is expiring for Reg, take that at the end of February.
But FAR will be my main concentration point.
Why?
So
well, no. Take FAR in April.
No, the NTS for both the papers are expiring by March. So I would have to give it a shot.
Oh,
anyways,
you're losing all of your. Sorry, I'm slow.
Yeah, exactly.
You're losing all of your NTSs.
That's right, all of the NTSs, because I applied together, which was a mistake. So yeah, I was not actually aware of scheduling separately.
If you're losing the NTSs, just go in there and schedule your exam and take it.
Okay.
It's a free look at the material. Well, it's not free because you paid for it, but go in and take it. I mean, yeah, it'll cost you half of your day, but you're paying for it, and you're gonna lose it. Use it.
Okay. So what I was thinking is, I mean, I just don't want to walk in and give the paper because I'm clueless about Reg. At least FAR, I could still do something if I would not prepare. But with Reg, I am totally clueless. So I just don't want to go walk in and sit in front of the system and just make a wild guess. So I was thinking maybe if I could just put in an hour from every day for the next 20 days, what would be the best thing to go about?
If you borrow time from Reg, if you borrow time from your FAR exam, it is going to hurt your FAR score.
Okay.
So either go in and take Reg without studying, or don't take Reg at all.
Okay, fine. Okay.
All right.
The one more question. If I give Reg and I lose out on that, which is pretty evident, so how would it impact the job prospects? Do the employers look into first attempts, or what matters is that you are qualified, or how does it go about? I mean, if you have
technically your employer could ask what your CPA exam scores are. Most employers are only going to care that you passed, but so one negative side effect of going in there and taking the Reg and scoring like a 29 is that it'll show up. So you have to list that 29 and then explain that you didn't study and blah blah blah. So maybe it is best that you just let it expire.
Oh, okay. So they might still have access to my previous scores, or it would be me declaring?
No. They will not have access to your scores, and so they might ask you, and then it's up to you as to what you say.
Okay.
So you have a dilemma.
Yeah. Fine. I have anyway scheduled. Let me see. I'll either let it go. I'll try and find out if anyone more in the HR can help me out with this query, because I don't want it to impact my future job prospects. So
It won't. Don't over analyze this.
Okay, fine. Yeah, that also makes sense.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for your time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, yeah, bye.
Area code 408. Thank you for hanging on.
Oh, sorry about that. I didn't know if you could hear me or not. I'm I'm studying for FAR. I'm taking it in about 3.5 weeks, or at the end of February. And I bought your notes, Ninja Notes, a couple weeks ago, and I noticed you were working late Saturday night. We got an email.
Yes.
And you were working late Saturday night, and then there was an email a couple days ago about how you had posted some updates to governmental. And I'm wondering, since I just bought it a couple weeks ago, is there any way I can get the updates to the outline on governmental?
Well,
I think you updated it in FAR, right?
No, I didn't. That's not an update. That was just a freebie, a teaser. So it's the same content that you already have in your full version.
Oh, okay. I'm not missing anything.
No, and even if I do have an update, that I give free updates until you pass, so you don't ever have to worry about that.
Oh, how do I get the updates?
Normally, so like there will be another update in July, and normally I just like
okay.
When I updated it for 2014, I just blasted it out to everyone who had bought. I mean,
okay.
I have everyone tagged.
Well, I bought on approximately the 5th or the 9th or something like that of January.
Okay, then you have the current version.
Okay, I happened to notice I was doing some cramming and was looking at about gains and losses on like kind exchanges, and somebody I was by the way, the website's a great tool, and I usually, when I'm looking for people to discuss a topic, I'll type into Google. The first thing is another71.com, and then the topic, because I want to. I think I'll catch somebody's thread on your site, so it's a great resource, and it helps out quite a bit too with morale, which turns out being a lot more important than you might think on this.
Yep.
But there was something about gains and like-kind exchanges, and there was something, and then they said, well, I thought it was different because Lime said this, but then the Ninja Note said this, and then there was an addition by you that it was the main case, which was basically, I'm not doing a very good job of explaining, but the essence is that the main case. I think the upshot was that there are different complicated scenarios that can arise, and you were addressing. I think in your explanatory comment, you said I was addressing the main case where there's a so and so and a so and so, and I think that's the main one. But you are right about something. So I guess a lot of this. It's very easy in FAR, since there's so much material, to get sucked into a particular topic and to go, oh my goodness, I need to actually look at that one further, and
right.
It's very easy to get sucked in to go to say, like, oh my goodness, in a lease, the fair market value of the what if there's a residual? What if there's and then I don't know. Have other people talked about this too? That you can.
Oh yeah.
That you can get sucked into something and you're scared. You're like, I don't have it down. I don't have it all memorized. There's it could be both a capital and an operating lease, depending. You could have the same lease considered an operating or a capital by the lessor and the lessee, based on whether And oh my God, I don't understand that. And my goodness, if you. Do people get sucked in that way, like FAR? I don't know enough.
Well, I mean, especially if there's some books out there that are as thick as a phone book, and I think the approach that a lot of review courses have is just to throw everything in there and let God sort it out, and and where and then you have the Ninja Notes, which are more like a 30,000-foot view of it all, and it's somewhere in between on exam day. And so well, that's why people spend like $2,000 for a review course, because they take this big phone book and tell the candidate what they actually need to know. And
and so, I have the Roger phone book, and I'm kind of glad I have the Roger phone book, but it's just so strange, because you go to these Wiley questions and they're fairly specific, and then there's just always a center of the brain that sends out the signal saying, "Oh my God, there's something wrong. There's something wrong."
Well, have you taken any exams yet?
No.
Okay.
I should have. Ideally, I would have taken audit first or something and just had the experience of an exam.
Okay.
That would have been by far the best thing.
Well, because a lot of the review providers get their questions from the exact same source, and that's the AI CPA. And so if you get into pretty wordy specific questions on your study prep material, chances are that you're actually going to see questions like that on exam day. And so the multiple choice questions point to how deep something goes on a topic, but it's hard to really decipher that when you have this big phone book.
Yes.
So
yes.
All of that to say, just study hard and you'll be fine.
Wow, it's rough, because I went back. I've been in tech. I had originally years ago. I've been out of Princeton, and I'm actually a classmate of Michelle Obama, so I'm a little bit old. And I went. I've isn't that weird? And so I went back and I did this program at Santa Clara University, one of the local ones, in kind of a fire hose CPA thing, and kind of loony, because they give you courses in like 5 weeks, including the exam, so really 4 weeks, and 1 day a week for about 8 hours a day, and it's kind of like they pretend to teach us and we pretend to learn, But I got a 3.9 in that program, so I did all right. But I can tell you that they let us go to a recruiting session that they have once a year, their big accounting thing, and they integrate this with this is mainly for their undergrads, but they also let people who go through this program go to it. And at the start of the program, it's only a week or two after the first class, and then you finish it, and then a month later you have the actual one where you can go network and get recruited, and you've actually been through the whole program. And so, the people who were like 33 and under, they just got these offers. Like even at the beginning, at the event that was held at the beginning of the program, they got these offers. Basically, they were warm bodies. They had been in accounting maybe 2 or 3 weeks, or since the first class was optional, they hadn't even been in accounting, and they would get these offers. And then, so I don't know. It's and then if you get a 3.9 in the program, I only got like about 3 phone interviews. So I guess I'll just have to. Pardon?
Do you think that it was because of your age?
Yeah, I think. Although there were other people, I think it's the combo of age and also background. I do kind of a niche area of. I'm in tech. I do a niche area of I prepare application notes for mixed analog digital circuit designs, and they just look at that, and it's, I'm my own contractor consultant, so I have these clients. They tend to be often non-native English-speaking engineers, sometimes overseas. I started this when I lived in Ukraine a few years ago, and
so I think you are accustomed to being self-employed, correct?
I have been these last 6 or 7 years.
So you are used to being your own boss, right?
Well, I have been, but I'm not saying that that's the only thing I can do, just because I'm accustomed to it.
Well, I only bring that up because well since I've been my own boss for the last 3 or 4 years, I don't think there's any way I could go back and be an employee, just because I I'm too opinionated.
Oh, I see.
And I'm not sure.
Yeah.
You know, I ask why too much. You know.
Yeah.
You know, and that's dumb. Why?
I sometimes do that, but
yeah.
So yeah, I see what you're saying. They may look at the resume and think, "Oh, this is weird.
He's not gonna.
This guy's not a team player." Yeah.
So going back to FAR, you're taking that at the end of February.
Yes.
And how long have you been studying for it?
Since October. So I kind of started in like June, but then I put it off. So I really, ideally, you know, if I were going about this again, I would have signed up for audit right after audit, or maybe one of the other ones right after I finished, had the experience of being in there and taking a test, and just the experience of it, because it seems to me to be a time test, and people have told me, look, the SAT was a time test too, and I thought, well, not in the same way. There was enough time to answer all the questions, and so this one seems to, and also I can't go 4 hours without taking a piss, so I'm going to have to take at least one break, and it's just loony. The whole thing, the whole setup of the test strikes me as kind of loony. I mean, I know other people have licensure exams like architecture, and they don't set it. I mean, if you take a break, they don't keep your clock running. It's just loony.
Well,
it's just the way it is, though.
One bit of advice: you've been taking this been studying since June or October. There's a real danger that you have spread this out for so long that you think, okay,
yeah.
You know, chapter 1, I studied that. You know, I'm good. Well, that was like what, 5 months ago, 4 months ago.
No, I read your comment on that, and so I did this Roger Cram course, and I just finished that up over where I kind of redid his whole thing in the last week or so, because I did read your comment on that, and I thought, wow, he's talking truth here.
Well,
and so I'm going back and doing all the problems, all the wildly multiple choices.
Your next exam, whatever it is, don't study any more than 6 to 8 weeks, and go in there and take that exam.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What was your first name again?
Jeff.
Jeff. Oh, okay.
Just like you.
Yep.
Just like you.
Great name. Great name. Okay. Well, thanks, Jeff. I hope this has been helpful to you.
All right. Well, thank you.
All right. Take care.
Keep up the good work. Bye.
All right. Appreciate that. Bye. Area code 410.
Hi, Jeff. How are you?
Good. Did we already speak?
No, we have not, because I just saw the email like a couple minutes ago.
Okay, cool. Well, there was someone else from 410. One of your neighbors had called in already. So
that's Baltimore.
Yeah, they're from DC or something.
Okay. Yeah, I just stepped out my office thinking I'm gonna read a chapter, and when I checked my email, I saw your email about like 121. I said, oh my God, it's almost time. But anyway, my problem is that I have all 4 sections to take. I started studying for the CPA in 2009. I did all 4 parts, flunked it, and then I decided I'm going to start again. So right now I'm studying for the BEC, and I'm scheduled to take this part. I think it's April 4th. So as I said, I just took a lunch break and said I'm going to study chapter 3 just to go over it. But I want to know what's the best way to really take these notes. I have your notes. I have notes from you for BEC, Audit, and FAR. But as I'm reading, like you talk about the phone book, I have a phone book that I'm reading as well.
Right.
And I'm trying, what is the best way to really take these notes and to narrow it down? Yes, you said that we could also, rewrite your notes and stuff like that. But I also think I want a little bit more in-depth. I don't know. That's why I want to read the book as well instead of just,
Well,
I just want to tie it. I know you dice yours. I know yours to the point. But yesterday I want to know what led up to this. You understand? Because I'm a little bit rusty, so to speak. So that's why I want to read. So what do you?
Well, just to back up, I would not take your exam in April. I would take it at the end of February.
February?
February, yeah. Because
and how do I do that?
Well, how long have you been studying for BEC?
Well, I started around January. I've actually, like I said, I have the phone book. I've listened to the lectures up to lecture 5, and I'm at chapter 3, rereading the notes and stuff like that. But I don't know.
How many hours a week are you studying?
Well, sometimes I don't have. Some days I do 4 hours. Some days I do 3 hours. You know, sometimes I get up in the morning, like you did suggest that you do that 1 hour study in the morning. Lunchtime, I only have half an hour, so I'll come in and read a chapter here or there. Not a chapter, a couple pages during my lunchtime, because I don't have enough time to read a whole chapter, during my lunch break.
No,
but,
I mean,
I haven't even started. I haven't even started doing the multiple choice, because you said it's a waste of time to.
Well, you have a whole month. You have a whole. So
I have a whole.
So work multiple. Sorry to interrupt, but work multiple choice for 2 weeks. Take notes over that, and then do your final review for 2 weeks. Go and take your exam.
So work multiple choice for 2 weeks.
Or I mean, so are you taking study? Are you watching study videos?
Yeah, I did. Like I said, I watched up to lecture 5 already.
And how many lectures are there?
6. BEC, this is the one I'm focusing. It's 6 lectures.
6 lectures, okay. And what course is it?
Right. Huh?
What course is it?
It's Becker.
Becker, okay. Are you taking notes over your videos?
Well, in the videos, they just we write notes in the book and stuff like that, yeah.
Okay. On your next exam, don't write notes in the book and don't highlight. Get out a legal pad and take notes, but it's too late for this one. So, I mean, if you wait till April, that means that you will have studied BEC all of January, all of February, all of March. That's way too long, especially for BEC.
Okay.
Because number one, you were going to get bored. Number two, you're going to forget what you've learned.
Okay.
And so, while it seems probably scary to schedule for the end of February, it's like it puts some time pressure on you, and it really sometimes a little bit of pressure is good. If the end of February were like 2 weeks away, well then that would have really freaked you out. But back it up, you have a month. You can do this.
So in studying for a month, how many hours a day would I have to put in? Like 4?
I don't know how many per day, but you can fit in 20 hours a week over 7 days, and it sounds like you're probably doing that right now or close to it.
Close to it, yeah.
But 20 hours a week over the next month, that's 80 hours plus the amount of time that you've already put in. You will have put in enough time for BEC.
Okay.
Now, if this were FAR that we were talking about, and if you were just starting, I would say, well, that's really tight. That's really scary. But for BEC, you'll be fine. I just want to challenge the notion that you want to wait till April, because you're letting an entire quarter of a year slip by.
Yeah, and my material expire in November too, so I have to get all 4 of them in before the end of November.
Yep. So I would fit in BEC by the end of February.
So if I do BEC by February, so can I do I want to do audit next. I can finish that by the end of May, right?
Well, you could study for 6 weeks or so and take it mid-April and take your other exam late May. Study 6 weeks for each exam.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy, I know.
That means I would not get any sleep. Oh, Lord. So basically then, when you're preparing for this exam, you cannot take an 8-hour sleep, right? It's like 4 hours sleep per day.
No. Don't do that.
Don't do that?
If you physically need 8 hours of sleep, do that. But most people, schedule it in so you get 7 hours of sleep a day, and study on the weekends. Do you have a family?
Okay. Yeah, I have a family and I work full time.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm all, telling you what to do and everything, but your schedule might be tighter than what I know. But I do know that you should definitely take BEC at the end of February, but it might make. Here's a problem: you study all of March and all of April to take an exam, like for audit. So then, what do you do for May? I guess in theory you could study all of May, all of June, and take FAR at the beginning of July, like before July, and then take regulation, study all of July, and take it at the end of August. I think that's your plan right there.
Right. Yeah. Okay then. So basically, you're saying that do multiple choice for 2 weeks and then take notes again for another 2 weeks, and that should be fine.
Yeah.
For BEC.
Yeah, work your multiple choice. Take a lot of notes over BEC. So if you miss it, or if you're going to miss it later, write down the little nugget that they're testing on. What's the idea, and then and do that for like 2 weeks. Spend a week rewriting those notes, going through your Becker book and writing down the notes out of there. And then spend a week doing your final review where you're looking over, weak areas, working little mini testlets over your weak areas. That's what I would do.
Okay, then. Sounds good.
All right. Well,
thanks. All right, thank you for your time.
My pleasure. Bye.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.